story of a woman, a mother, a wife, who loses her children to the Department of Human Services. Sound familiar? This one's live today on The View.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
Let's get it started in here.
Welcome to The View from a Pew, a conversation among Christians who are out to grow their faith by asking the simple questions, the tough questions, and the stuff you really wish your pastor would talk about. Come on now, let's reason together. It's your voice we want to hear. The phone lines are open, so join the conversation. Call 855-244-0077. That's 855-244-0077. Now, here's your host, J. Michael McCoy.
4 minutes after the hour on the 19th day of April in the Lord's year 2013. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and this is The View from a Pew. Thanks for joining in today. It's a Friday. We have a great story to tell you today, a story that you may have heard before. The names have been changed to protect the innocent, but it's a story much too often, not only in Iowa, but across the land. When can the government step in and take a mother's children? Now, I know you're going to say, well, if she beats them. Yeah. Well, and if she, injects them with heroin. Yeah. Or if she puts them in the bathtub, chains them to the plumbing, and won't let them leave the house. That's probably a good reason, too. But beyond that, there shouldn't be any, right? A mother's children is a mother's child. She has complete domain. She has complete access over their domain and control. It's very clear what the Constitution says about a mother's rights for her children. But every once in a while, our government just plain outright gets it wrong. And I'm going to introduce you to a mother today who's going to tell her story. It's going to take us a while to get there, so hang with us. And then at the end, we'll find out whether you agree or not. Phone lines are open, 1-855-244-0077. And Bob Montserrat, the cat in the hat, finally back watching the chat. It's nice to have you back, Bob. You've been gone for, a week?
Yeah. Good to be back.
Yeah, good to be back. So you can jump on that chat at webcastonelive.com and join us. I want to introduce you to Sid Kane from Central Iowa. How are you, Sid?
Good, Bob.
Mac. She has that great name like my granddaughter. Were you named after my granddaughter, Sydney?
Sure.
Yeah, no, she's 9, so I doubt it.
She was named after me.
Huh?
She was named after me.
She was named after you. Actually, you said you were named after Sid Charisse.
Yes, the
great dancer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll do a little two-stepping later on, okay?
There you go.
All right, and also Jeannie Munson is in the house. She's a child's advocate here in Central Iowa. And your your Facebook page is what?
Protest Iowa DHS.
Protest Iowa DHS. And do you have a specific reason for that as your passion? Do you have some experience with DHS?
Absolutely. I'm a grandmother of 4 children that they took from me about 4 years ago. They didn't have a good reason to take them, but they took them. And ever since then, I actually really feel that God has kind of put me in this situation that He's getting so many tears up there in heaven and prayers that somebody needs to step in. And so right now I am working with the legislature. We have a House File 343.
343. Did it make it past the funnel?
It went into subcommittee, and we decided to put it on hold.
Okay.
So we can work on it this year and get it in there in January. And that's so kinship gets these children instead of putting them in strangers' homes. So that's what we're working on right now.
We'll hear that story later. Meanwhile, our producer, Father Tattoo, what are you doing?
I'm trying to fix the camera so I can get a good shot.
Oh, okay. All right. Phone lines are open as we have somebody ringing now, and we'll find out who that is and get him on the air. Sid, how are you?
Very good, thanks.
Not nervous, are you? Just relax.
Okay, Mac.
Yeah, just relax. This is fun. It's nothing better than telling your story to people that need to hear it, because we're not telling your story so it makes you feel better. You've already gone through the gambit of emotions in the midst of this. We're telling your story because somebody out there will go, oh, it's not just me. I'm not the only person that's happened to. I can relate to Sid, and so you'll bring some joy and happiness and maybe some serenity and peace to some other mothers out there. All right, so you're from here originally?
I'm from Northeast Iowa, and in '87 moved to Des Moines.
Okay.
From Alcater.
And got married?
Yes,
All right. And had how many children?
3.
3. Now, you're going to have to trust me that Sid has 3 kids, and she was married, and this happened to her, because we're not going to tell you the names of her kids. Obviously, we want to keep them protected. We're also not going to name names of officials within the government, within DHS, that she's encountered during this. Why? Well, first of all, they're not here to defend themselves. And second of all, this isn't a game to point fingers. This is to tell the story. And hopefully you can find a nugget of wisdom within that story that you can relate to and maybe give Sid some information how she can be helped. So go ahead. You're married. You have 3 wonderful children.
Correct.
And something happens. What happens?
I was with my husband for 23 years. We were married for 18 of those years. It was domestic violence.
On his part?
Yes, and I called the police, and it was just really bad.
Okay.
So my oldest son witnessed my husband at the time choking me to death.
How old is your oldest son at this time? At that time?
At that time, he was 14 years old.
Okay.
At that point, I knew that I needed to make a change. So after years of abuse, I called the police, and he was not happy with me. So
No, they usually aren't.
yeah, so that's how.
Had there been physical violence in your relationship from day one?
No, it gradually got worse. As
Do you remember the first time he struck you?
yes,
When was it? Not, yeah, when was that? It was how many years after you've been together?
probably maybe 5 years into the relationship.
Okay. And what was your feeling when that happened? Did you feel like you were ashamed? Did you feel like you had been you had done something wrong? I mean, what was your emotion when he physically struck you?
He apologized for it and said that it wouldn't happen again. And
And how many times did you hear that? I'm sorry, it won't happen again. Hundreds?
a lot.
A lot, yeah. So we're how many years into your marriage when this final incident happened? Your son was 14, so I'm assuming it was at least 14 years.
Right. We were married for 18, but we were together for 23. So I'm not too good at the
math.
of it. I just he was the only person that I was with. So.
Okay. So what would cause your husband to become violent with you? Were there specific triggers, or is the answer just about anything that he felt like he was upset about? He took it out on me.
Usually he was drinking.
Okay, so alcohol was involved. How about drugs?
No.
Nope, just alcohol.
Alcohol, as far as I know.
Beer, hard liquor,
Both.
some of the both. Okay, is he an alcoholic?
Self-medicating.
Self-medicating. Okay. So that day, that evening, that the final time came, what had happened? What were the circumstances? He came home from work drunk. You were sitting, asking him to do something, and he refused to do it. What was the situation that popped it?
Yeah, I forget. It didn't really take much. I mean, to set him off. I kind of learned, to stay away or
Right.
to
Be a mouse in the corner.
just avoid it.
Okay.
Try to, but sometimes it was just unbearable.
So that final day came and he struck you and your son witnessed it. You called the police. Did they take him away?
He didn't strike me. He strangled me.
Okay. That's worse. I agree.
I honestly forget. I mean, I don't remember all of the details of it.
But they took him away.
Yeah, the police ended up questioning him after I went in and filled out a report.
Okay.
And yeah.
Did you file a restraining order?
Yeah, in the state of Iowa, they give you a restraining order when you immediately fill out the paperwork.
For domestic abuse?
Yes.
Okay. Did he honor that restraining order?
For the most, yeah.
Okay. All right. And so now it's you and your 3 children.
Yes.
You're living together.
We had gone through the divorce, and I was the primary caregiver.
Okay. So this is months afterwards that your divorce is final.
Right.
Joint custody with you, the primary caregiver?
Yes.
Okay. And so, I mean, except for being divorced and the kids not having their father around, this isn't a terrible situation. You're not getting beat on anymore. I would imagine you could breathe a lot easier and you could probably nurture and care for your children much better without wondering if your husband was going to come along and beat you today.
Right. Yeah, no, it wasn't bad.
Yeah. All right. So where does DHS come in here?
Well, I noticed, once the divorce was going through, it was fine. He didn't have a problem with me being the primary. I had cared for our 3 children for 14 years and he knew that I was the parent that took care of, nurtured, and got our children what they needed. And other parents would bring their kids to me. I'm like the model mother where everyone drops their kids off. And it only got difficult when we started negotiating what he would have to pay for child support. And our 14-year-old son at the time really became, it was hard for him. He was very, very close to me and liked the same things that I did. And we just had a really special bond. And, when the divorce came through, it was very difficult as any divorced family, the kids, feel guilty and can't decide which side to be on. And I was very adamant that, you get your time with your dad and then it's our time. And so I felt fair. My son at the time started, who's 14, acting out, just wasn't himself and was really upset by the divorce.
Not only add to just being a boy at 14.
Yeah, he didn't want to be a mommy's boy anymore. He wanted to be
his own.
He felt like he was the man.
Okay, that makes sense.
The oldest. And there's an age difference between him and the other 2 children, his siblings. So he and I, ended up for almost his entire life, taking care of the younger 2 kids.
And how old are the younger 2 ones at this time? When he's 14, they're what?
Would have been 5 and I'm terrible with math.
That's okay. Just roughly.
I'm nervous all now.
5 and 3, 5 and 2.
Yeah, they were younger.
Considerably younger.
Right. My daughter was just getting ready to start like kindergarten, preschool.
Okay.
So,
right.
But I started noticing they would come home and say things like my 9-year-old son at the time, he spoke like he was totally counseled, explaining to me that he and I didn't see eye to eye and he didn't feel like he could be with me.
You've heard some of the story. DHS hasn't entered the picture yet, but wait till you hear the next part live on The View.
I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershide.
I'm administrative manager
I am the senior technician.
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
You know, if we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, you know, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, I mean, it's your home.
You know, it's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're gonna do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's gonna be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're gonna do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed right or it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
I mean, if you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you gonna say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're gonna be listening. They're gonna wanna know what your challenges are. Then they're gonna come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you know, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me, but is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though, I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm gonna take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
enough said.
We've got questions. You've got the answer. Join the conversation. It's your voice we want to hear. So call 855-244-0077. Now, here's J. Michael McCoy.
21 minutes after the hour, a little bit later in this hour, Dr. Jane Huffer?
Karen
Huffer, a child psychologist, will join us and talk about some of the things that we're talking about here today. So Sid Kane is a mother of three. Her oldest son is 14. Her and her husband have gone through a divorce. And the children are coming home coached in what to say to their mom. And what are they saying?
We don't want to be with you. We don't get along. We're just not compatible. Words that a 9-year-old has never said.
And you think this is coming?
Words.
This is coming from your ex-husband, their father.
Yes.
Okay. And this is different than the way the children were before?
Yes.
They were very nurturing, loving, caring. You had a good relationship?
Yes.
And now, did they ever say, I want to go live with Dad?
Yes.
Okay. So what happened that DHS came into the picture?
My 14-year-old son at the time and I had an altercation, and it was...
Physical.
Yes, and this is the same son that witnessed my ex.
Strangling you.
Yes.
All right, and so who called the police?
My ex did. After my son had ran out.
Okay.
And the police were there within 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Okay. And they accused you of what?
of beating my son.
Okay. And were there bruises? Were there physical signs, or was it his he said, she said?
There were bruises on him, and I also had bruises.
Because he had fought back.
Right.
Okay.
And I had went into defense mode.
Sure. Fight or flight. You choose to fight.
Yeah.
And then, so the police came. What happened?
They took my children, and they went and stayed with their father.
Okay.
And then the other two children came back weeks later. And then my other son, who was feeling at that time like he wanted to be with his older brother because they had been together for
since birth.
Right. They were extremely close together. And so then DHS said that I put a bruise on my son, and I never saw a bruise. And they said that there was a torn pajama top, which they never produced. I never saw. And my rights, I was in court for 3 years and went through 3 attorneys. And
during these times, this 3 years, where were the children?
With their father.
Okay, all 3 of them.
Yes, and I would request every time we had a court hearing, could I please make a motion to see my children? And they would be like, no, the judge hasn't allowed it yet. The judge hasn't allowed it yet.
So how long did you go without seeing your kids?
I haven't seen my children in almost 3.5 years.
At all?
No.
No Christmases? No birthdays?
Nope.
That doesn't seem right.
No, it's not.
I mean, even you have joint custody. Has that ever been changed?
No.
So you still have joint custody, and you have primary.
The judge left it so that it was up to DHS's discretion in order for me to see my children. The child's therapist said that I was a threat to my children, so then DHS would not allow me to see the kids.
And this is what year?
I can't remember. I'm bad.
2 years ago? 5 years ago?
2.5 years ago.
All right. Let's go to the phones where Dr. Karen, did you say?
Yes.
Huffer is on the phone with us. Dr. Karen Huffer, how are you? Dr. Huffer, can you hear me? Linda, I'm sorry. Linda Huffer, are you there?
Karen Huffer.
Karen? Karen, are you there?
Oh, Linda Downs is another person.
Oh, this is Linda Downs. Yeah. I'm sorry. Linda, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yay, Linda! If I just call you the right name, you'd answer back, right?
Having a very difficult time hearing you. A lot of static.
Can you hear me fine now?
Pardon me?
Can you hear me now?
No.
Okay. I don't know what to tell you. Do you have your phone up to your ear?
All I can hear is static.
Okay. Well, we'll put you back on hold and see if
maybe she can call back.
Yeah, have her call us back. All right. So, so do you have to start paying child support?
No, my rights were terminated.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I didn't know this. Seriously? The judge terminated your rights?
Yes.
What did your lawyer say about that?
I had a court-appointed lawyer.
Okay. All 3 times?
No, actually, I had my first attorney, which I couldn't afford anymore. And then I had a friend who was my attorney, and it was a lot, so she couldn't do it anymore. And then I qualified for a court-appointed attorney.
And do you still have that court-appointed attorney?
Yes.
And are they fighting for your rights to your children? No.
Not really.
Not really. So how many years have gone by since your divorce?
I believe the divorce was final in 09.
All right. And when did you...
January of 09.
When was your... when were your children completely removed from you? When were they taken from you legally by the court? About the same time?
I believe so, a year later.
Okay.
That August.
Okay, August
About-
of 09.
Right.
So all of 10, all of 12. So you've been without your kids for 2.5 years.
Yes.
Do you ever see any of them?
No. There is a protection order against me.
Against you? A restraining order against you?
Yes.
All right, who do we have, Dan? Linda. All right. Hi, Linda. You're on the radio. Can I hear you, or can you hear me?
Well, I'm trying to get through all this static. I'm Linda Downs from Iowa Family Rights. And I have a Facebook group, and we try to help parents that's caughting the system. A lot of times mothers who have been through domestic violence, and they've suffered traumatizations through fear for their children and their own safety, and actually they're suffering from post-traumatic stress disorders.
Okay.
And they're drug into court, first of all, for the domestic violence, and then, of course, when the husband or the person that abused them gets out of jail, there's the devil to pay, and one thing goes on to another, and the next thing there's been a CPS report, and then the children are removed, and by this time the mother is in such condition she can't defend herself any longer. And it's a terrible situation.
What can we, as citizens of Iowa, do to help?
Pardon me, I can't hardly hear you.
What can we, as citizens of Iowa, do to help someone like Sid?
Well, what we do on Iowa Family Rights is we give support and we give suggestions. We're not lawyers. We're just parents and grandparents, and we do not give legal advice. But we post information to the parents that can get on there and possibly fight their way through. And a lot of times we give the parents a great deal of support, cheering them on, getting them back to realizing that they are a good person, that all this stuff that's been handed to them is not their fault. And we want them to be able to live with themselves and like themselves again. And to do this, we give them all this information. I have files full of information that they can go in to help themselves. They can learn how to help themselves. Right now, Sid is just right at the end of the line because she's tried everything. And a lot of times, our courts are not really there for the parent. I don't quite understand what's going on in this country anymore because families are beginning to be herded through court like cattle at a sale barn, and children are shooed off in one direction and parents in another. And it's terrible.
Do you think, Linda, this is a case of the good old boy network where white men believe that they rule the world, and should a female get out of line, the first thing they do is yank her kids away because they can?
I could only hear a little bit of that. The problem with our courts is no due process. There's no due process for parents in juvenile family court. In a China proceedings, the parent has one chance to defend themselves, and that's at the adjudication hearing. And hearsay and opinions are admissible. And no one explains to the parents that they have rights. Some parents are kept out of hearings and are not allowed to view the record, information against them that's in the court files and transcripts. They're just kept in the dark. So there's no way that these parents can get a fair hearing in a court proceeding when they're not even allowed in the room.
Do you think? Why do you think this is?
I think what we need. I think what needs to be done is that we need. There's existing laws on the book, but they need to be followed. We need some new laws to be put in place. Legislators need to pay attention to these issues. They need to pay attention to what's going on here, because this is horrible for the parents, and it's even worse for the children.
All right, Linda, you hang on. I appreciate it. I'm going to bring you in a little bit later in the conversation. We'll put you on hold, and hopefully you'll hear what's going on. Sid Kane is my guest. After a marriage of relationship of almost 23 years and 3 kids, she is physically abused by her husband. The husband lashes back, takes the children, and now she has not seen or talked to all 3 of her children, in 2.5 years. Jeannie Munson in the house, a child advocate. We'll talk to her when we come back live on The View from a Pew.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Drink, dance, party. Favorite dance music. At Kitty's, we've always got your birthday party planned with Birthday Fridays. That's right, when your birthday rolls around, there's only one place to go. Gather up your friends and head to Kitty's, where you drink free on the Friday of your birthday week. Find out more about Birthday Fridays at kittiesusa.com. Kitty's, all kinds of people, all kinds of music, all kinds of fun.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little, until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America. For almost a quarter of a century, we've helped people of all ages learn to manage their personal finances to benefit them far into the future. When problems arise, we've got the experience you need to make those debt problems go away. Got financial problems? Call Consumer Credit of America. Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of Des Moines. If your credit card's a little too animated, give us a call.
Hooray, we're saved! Consumer Credit, you're our hero!
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
one's in the pew, not pulpit. Come on now, let's reason together. The phone lines are open, so call 855-244-0077. Now, here's J. Michael McCoy.
3:38:22 before the top. Salem Radio Network news. We'll hear the latest on the bombing. I don't even want to try to tell you where this thing is at in Boston. The last time I heard an update was about 2:40, and they were still trying to find this younger brother of the man who conspired to, well, didn't just conspire, he did, well, allegedly carried out this bombing on April 15th. I don't know if they've caught him yet. I can't imagine he's going to slip through 9,000 State Patrol, local PD, FBI, and CIA, plus Army Reserves. And they had Boston shut down. It literally looked like, one of those movies where Armageddon had happened. But isn't it amazing as a country that within 4 days, we knew who they were, where they were, we caught one of them, killed one of them, and the other one is just a snapshot away. Do we live in a great country or what? All right. My guest is Sid Kane. She lost her children through DHS. She has not seen either one of her children in 3 years. Now, Jeannie Munson is here, and she's a child's advocate. How many times have you heard this very same story, and the names have been changed?
It's amazing at how many times I've heard this story. I've heard it several times with a man that's going through the country. He's doing videos of people, and I've seen where several women have lost their children like this. And it's not just in this situation, but any situation. They're taking these kids away from parents and putting them in strangers' homes. And I feel so bad for those children. Also, I have a lot of grandmothers that I know that are losing their grandchildren. It's horrific.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you take one of my, you take away one of my wife's grandkids. And they're my grandkids too, but I'm a smart enough guy in the world to know whose grandkids they really are, and that's grandma's.
Exactly.
My wife is an eloquent, beautiful, precious Christian woman. But you try to take her grandchild away, she turns into Mother Bear.
Absolutely.
Nothing's stopping her. And DHS has a way of defanging those mother bears and not giving them first a voice. Right, Sid?
Right.
And then not giving them any rights.
Right.
And then not giving them any constitutionally correct representation in the court of law.
Exactly.
Do you have a case pending? I mean, if I went down to the courthouse and looked this up, would there be a case pending, or is it just lost?
No, my case has been terminated. I've been terminated. My parental rights are no longer, my children are no longer my kids on paper. I filed for an appeal, but
didn't do any good.
You file paperwork and it, goes on unanswered, or you get a very general statement pushed back to you. It might have a judge's signature on it, but chances are that judge didn't even read that paper, that someone else underneath him signed off on it.
Now, there are people out there listening to this program that says, Mac, you don't have the whole story. You don't know the whole story. What don't I know? Now, you had a physical altercation with a 14-year-old boy.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
You're his mother. Don't you have the right to spank him? I mean, you didn't hit him with a meat cleaver, did you?
No, I was actually trying to set him down in timeout. But, we had an altercation. But
there weren't weapons involved. There weren't baseball bats involved. There weren't knives involved. Don't you, as a mother in America in 2013, have the right to punish your child, which includes a good swat on the behind?
Well, it wasn't,
or across the face.
It wasn't that I was punishing him. He had attacked me. So I was just, trying to defend myself. And I believe that had we not been going through the divorce, and he's 14 years old, he's trying to find himself.
And now, as you said earlier, can we say where he is now?
Yeah.
He's in Korea, South Korea, mobilized by the United States.
He got frustrated with the whole situation, went and joined the Army, and is now in the infantry and is 12 miles from the North Korean border.
DMZ.
Yeah.
So,
which, interesting enough, his grandfather was located at Camp Casey, which is the same place that his grandson is, in 1953.
Yeah, is that your dad?
Yes.
All right. I want to go back to Linda for just a second. Linda, we're about out of time, but I wanted to give you a chance to add anything if you wanted to.
Oh, I guess I can barely hear you. I'm having an awful lot of static on this end. I'm sorry if I didn't answer some of your questions. I guess I would like to just add one thing, that they need to change the way they run a juvenile courtroom. And one of the main things is that the county attorney is an elected official who should not be representing DHS CPS. And the job of the county attorney is to represent the people of the county and the state, not DHS and CPS. CPS should not be in control of what the county attorney presents to the court. This is where all the hearsay information and all the opinions and all those sort of things come in. And if legislators would just listen to us when I don't know how many letters I've wrote, hundreds of letters to state legislators and emails and just on and on. And you don't hardly ever get an answer. We have a very sweet lady here in Wapello County that does answer me. Her name is Mary Gaskell. She's a great legislator. She does answer me, but she is not on the committee to do anything about this particular thing. So, legislators need to have a heads up here, because what's happening to our children is horrific. It's a bad, bad deal. And I got started in this about 20 years ago when CPS took one of my grandchildren. And I've heard you say about the mama bear, that, when Grandma gets upset, they never stop. I will never stop fighting them. And the way they did my grandson, they just would not give him to the proper parent, to where it's not always the father that's at fault here. Sometimes it's the mother, and the father should have the child, and they never seem to put the child in the right place. This child grew up, and he's now in prison. And it's because of the way that he was dealt with when he was 7 years old.
Linda, I sure appreciate your phone call. God bless you. Keep working hard, and just keep us informed about what's going on in your world. Jeannie, thank you for coming in today. Keep fighting, and keep talking to those legislators. That's one term I continue to hear, legislators.
Absolutely, because that's the whole thing, is to change the laws.
The laws have to be changed. So
Yes.
DHS, would you say the DHS is just following the laws? It's the laws that are wrong?
No, not necessarily. I believe they do have a pretty good process, but I believe their management is not following that process.
Okay.
So I think we're going to have to change the laws to force them.
Okay. Sid, thanks.
Thank you, Mac.
Feel better?
Yeah.
Somebody out there heard today.
I
They
hope
heard
so.
something.
I just wanted to add that on Mother's Day, May 12th, there's a march for mothers of lost children. So if anyone would like to go to D.C., and if you're a mother that lost her children to DHS, come to D.C. And also too, here in Des Moines, Iowa, we're having a potluck picnic at Walnut Park in July for anyone who has lost their child.
And
or
catch
grandchild.
Sid Cohen on Facebook. We'll talk to you in a minute.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America. For almost a quarter of a century, we've helped people of all ages learn to manage their personal finances to benefit them far into the future. When problems arise, we've got the experience you need to make those debt problems go away. Got financial problems? Call Consumer Credit of America.
Get away from us, you mean old credit card. We don't have any more money. We're in trouble now. Save us! Help! Somebody save us! Somebody help! Help! Save us!
Hi, I'm Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of Des Moines. If your credit card's a little too animated, give us a call.
Hooray! We're saved! Consumer Credit! You're our hero!
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Questions, you've got the answer. Join the conversation. It's your voice we want to hear. So call 855-244-0077. Now here's J. Michael McCoy.
3:50, 10 before the top, live here on 99.3 KTIA, powered by webcastonelive.com. We thank very much our guests last hour. It's a tragic situation. I cannot imagine life to be twisted that way, in such an unfair thing, to have the government take your children away and it not be clear to you why, or if it is clear, it be unsubstantiated or certainly not enough to take your children away. I don't know. We Bob, we live in a screwed up world.
Oh, most definitely.
We really do.
Yep, we do.
We really do. The right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing. You know, you get people who say that they care about children and then they abort them, or they are for abortion. You get people that care about families and traditions, and yet they have no guidebook to follow in what's right and wrong. They just do whatever feels good. I'm going to have a woman on the second Restoring Hope Live that's on national show. So that's on the 28th. And she had an abortion when she was 16 weeks along, and she remembers laying on the bed hearing the abortion doctor crunch and smash the bones of her unborn child to get the fetus out of her cavity.
I can't even imagine what that's like.
All right, let's go on to something positive, something big, something wonderful. Reich Plakas is here. Did I say it right?
Hey, you said it right, Mac. What's up?
Reich Plakas. I said it right. Because your name looks like, well, it doesn't look like Reich
Plakas.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. As most of you know, beginning this Sunday, a show that I've developed along with Joe Mines and Bob Montserrat and Dr. Michael Hartwig is going to go national. We premiere on several stations across the country, including the radio station you're listening to us on now. And we also have the wonderful humble to tell you that we'll be on XM, which, let me tell you, in the world of what we do as a talk show host, that is the epitome. I mean, if you ask any talk, I want to get on 50 stations, and then I'd like to get on 75. And if I could hit 100, then I'm big time. And anything over 100 is over the top. And every talk show host desire, dreams come true when you get into that 75 to 100 and over. But when they invented satellite radio, that all went away, because when you have 37 million subscribers, which is over 10% of the country, getting satellite radio, Your epitome now, the creme de la creme, the top of the stack, the cream of the cream, is XM Sirius. And when they offered us noon to 1 Central Standard Time on Sunday on the Salem Christian Talk station, it was like arriving. If you're going to listen to Christian Talk, you're going to listen when you're coming in and out of church. And so somewhere between California and New England, people are going to be going to church between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m., and that's when we're on. And it is just, I still haven't grasped that God has given me this gift. But I know it's not a gift, it's a responsibility. And we're going to be telling people's lives, we're going to be telling people's stories, trying to change people's lives. Our first guest is a man who was born in the 60s. He lived as a flaming homosexual. And about 1977, just boom, Jesus landed right in front of him and said, dude, you're mine. And Jesus said, sin no more. And he couldn't. He found Christ. He went on Governor Branstad's Civil Rights Commission, and he began to find other men and women who were suffering from this disease of sexual deviance called homosexuality, and led them to Christ, because it's really only through Christ can we shed the sin of alcoholism, drug addiction, pornography. I mean, those sins that permeate our souls and cause us to run from God. And where there's no God, there's no love, and it is dark, and it is lonely. And those are the stories we're going to tell on Restoring Hope Live. So, I don't mean to compare myself to Johnny Carson, and most of you are probably too young to remember him, but when Johnny Carson needed to step away from The Tonight Show, he found the most capable guest hosts that he could find. And I want to introduce you to the guy that I found, a guy that I've known 4 or 5 years?
About 5.
When you started screwing with the barn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was what, 08?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the guy that it probably would be too big to say you single-handedly saved the barn on the West Des Moines
The barn
Valley
got
School.
saved.
But the barn got saved, and you never let up.
That's right.
And Reich is a passionate Christian man, has a different view, and that your faith a lot comes from gospel music.
Absolutely.
You love it.
Absolutely.
Do you sing it?
I do.
Well? Not bad.
My mother thinks so.
Hey, every mother loves her son's voice.
I did for about 15 years.
Okay.
In a local congregation here.
All right. And so Reich is going to start stepping in. He'll be here next Tuesday, right?
Absolutely.
And then the week after that, he'll be here every Wednesday and Thursday. And he'll be doing The View from the Pew, but through the eyes of Reich. And I look forward to seeing him go out and find other Christians in this community, talking to them, interviewing them, and putting his own spin. Don't think for one moment he's going to be me. He's going to be better than me.
You're the Ryan Seacrest. I don't know. I can't fill your shoes,
Ryan
back.
Seacrest. I could at least be.
You look good. You sound good. And you bring it.
Who's the guy that Ryan Seacrest replaced? He's dead now.
He is.
Come on.
It made such an impression.
The dancing show in the 50s. American Bandstand.
Oh,
Dick Clark?
Dick Clark.
I'm Dick Clark. You're Ryan Seacrest.
Okay.
Does that mean you're going to die sometime soon?
I don't know.
No.
As soon as God takes me. So, next Tuesday, Reich will be here. Who will be your guest?
We have a group out of Kansas City. It's Booker and Life Source. And I tell you what, they are a blessing. And also Pastor Angela Lewis is going to come back because she loved you so much, Mac, that she just wanted to see you and shake your hand.
Well, I'll be here again Tuesday with you.
Absolutely.
And then on Wednesdays and Thursdays and other days, Reich will be here. We'll still be doing View from the Pew on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. But I'm going to take the middle of the week off as we're going to be doing all weekends with the national show. So you won't miss me. You're going to ask me probably to take more days off, and that might very well happen. Maybe we're looking at the permanent replacement for the View from a Pew. We'll see. But Reich, God bless you. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thank you very much.
Ryan will be producing for you. Otherwise, Bob, are you going to come in and hang out with Reich?
Probably.
Okay.
That'd be great.
There you go. Now you got a pro with you. So for Father Tattoo and myself and Bob Montserrat, the Cat in the Hat, and Reich Plakas. I said it right again.
I'm going to give you $1 each time.
I can't believe it. Have a great weekend. And we hope that you join us this Sunday. high noon Central Daylight Time, right here on this station on Webcast One Live or channel 131 on Sirius XM, the national premiere of Restoring Hope Live. Until then, do me a favor, would you? Tonight, before you go to sleep, before the TV comes on, before the night gets away from you, one knee, two knees, standing straight up looking at Jesus. Just pray.